Hello out there to all my happy hybrid viewers. This is Christy Casey Sanders from Plan Your Meetings signing in from day 2 at the Green Meetings Industry Council Sustainable Meetings Conference. And with us today to kick off, we have a very special guest, one of our sponsors. This is Joe D'Alessandro from San Francisco Travel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you. It's my second time in 2 weeks. It's my third time in a year, and my husband asked me before I left if I had a boyfriend.
Well, you better start coming back more frequently.
Maybe yeah.
Bring your husband too.
I would love to. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful city. So tell me a little bit about why you're a sponsor for this conference.
Well, green meetings are really important for San Francisco. In fact, the whole sustainable tourism movement is very important for San Francisco. We've been very much at the leading edge of it, and really encouraging our population to embrace whole sustainability from every day, whether it's on our public transportation system, which is one of the largest electric public transportation systems in the country, and one of the most utilized public transportation systems in the country, to our convention center, which is LEED Gold certified, and we're expanding it right now. We want to have it LEED Platinum certified. To our new terminal at SFO, which is the first airport terminal that is LEED Silver certified, to the largest solar installation of any municipal building in the United States on top of our convention center. It's very important to San Francisco, and we want to support the movement and make sure that we do a better job and we embrace it across the country as really something that's fundamental base of tourism.
It's interesting because I feel like because America is so vast and there's so much space, and we haven't been living on top of each other for centuries like people have in Europe, it takes a certain kind of mindset to kind of reframe how you look at sustainability, you know, and changing the perception of it from being kind of like a hippie, crunchy granola movement from the 60s to being something that, you know, just makes sense.
And it makes business sense, frankly. Yeah. I mean, for our facilities, our hotels, and a convention center, it makes business sense to invest in green technology. In the long term, it's much less expensive for energy operations and for operations in general. So it's not just a feel-good thing, it's something that really makes business sense. If you're a hotel or if you're a meeting facility and you invest in green technologies, your bottom line is going to be better in the long run.
Yeah, and what I love also is that you're not only walking the talk in your hometown, but you're also helping other communities adapt sustainable measures and business models. Can you tell us a little bit about that and some of the cities you're partnering with?
Yes, so what we do is we work with a lot of different cities or a lot of different groups to share the ideas that individuals have or groups have on meetings and share them with other communities. For example, we'll have a major convention like Oracle Open World come into San Francisco with 60,000 delegates that has really developed an incredible green meeting plan all the way through their conference, with including how much disposable stuff that they have, what they do in terms of composting at the convention center, what type of recycling activities that they do. And then we not only share that with other meetings, but we also share it with other communities, because we believe that this is really important for the future of the hospitality industry in general, to be sustainable, because it's going to ensure that we're able to grow and grow in a very positive way.
So how do you have conversations with people who wonder how they can get their investors or their city governments to kind of move with them in this direction? Like, because you mentioned it, it's a great business proposition. Mm-hmm. So how do you frame that for people who have very business mind and all they look at is maybe the cost of implementation?
So I think really what you have to do is kind of show the whole case study. And show them and demonstrate case studies from other businesses that are similar to theirs that have developed some of these technologies in some of these areas, to really focus on that and show that it can be done. It's not something that we're just making up, but it's something that really makes sense.
GMIC. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this pre-show. It's fabulous. Thank you so much for supporting GMIC 2014.
Happy to, and welcome to San Francisco.
Great, thank you. And now we are going to switch over to the live view.
Read a list of 100 names.
So here we go. Enjoy the conference.
But we do want to give them our sincere thanks. And also want to thank Hilton and Phil's for working with us so we could give you the Phil's Coffee experience this morning. And finally, I cut my speech a lot, but I really wanted to tell you how excited we are today about the CSR experience that we're going to do. When we had our board retreat in June, we're brainstorming about what we would do for our local chapter of CSR, and one of the things we had learned is that 50% of the food raised in the world is thrown away, and there are people starving. And if you think about that, 50% of the food is thrown away. So we decided we could do something about that locally and within our industry by supporting food runners. Because they take food donated from corporations, from events like this, and they provide it to people who need food. And we're really excited that Mary Risley, who is the founder of Food Runners, is going to actually be speaking today. And when you listen to her, I want you to think about the fact that one person with a good idea can make real change. And think about what you could do and what we all can do if we work together. And now, it give me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Joe D'Alessandro from San Francisco Travel. And I have to tell you a story. In another lifetime, Joe and I met back in the 90s. I was working in Oregon, Newport in the Oregon coast, and Joe had just come up to be the executive director of the Oregon Tourism Authority, or whatever they called themselves back then. And Joe was coming to speak at our Newport Chamber of Commerce, and he was late. And he came and he said, he got up in front of the crowd and he said, "I'm so sorry to be late, but we came through Depot Bay, and the ocean and the crashing waves were so beautiful, we just had to stop and admire it for a few minutes." And he won our hearts and minds right then. And I think he does the same for San Francisco.
Thank you, Chris. Luckily, I get to stop and see the ocean every day now that I'm here. But I feel very fortunate to be able to welcome you to San Francisco for the first full day of your conference. And also that I've had the pleasure of representing two of the most iconic green destinations in the country, and that's Portland and Oregon and San Francisco. Having a green meeting and really focusing on sustainability in the whole hospitality industry is not just a feel-good issue, it's a business issue. It makes total business sense. And the more that we look at it that way, the more that we look at the investments that we make, the more that we look at the long-term sustainability of these practices, I think the more that destinations and hotels and meeting centers around the country and other planners will embrace this and realize that it's not only feel good, but it makes business sense, and it makes good sense for the future of our industry. In order for hospitality, tourism, meeting industry to grow, we have to take steps to make sure that we're growing in a thoughtful, sustainable, and positive way. And I think what you're doing at this conference the next couple of days is exactly that. You're sharing ideas, you're looking at ways of doing business, and most importantly, you're looking at a future that's different than the past. We just want to bring a couple things up about San Francisco that I'm very proud of, and how we have taken the green meetings forward. Our convention center, which is just a few blocks away, the Moscone Center, is LEED Gold certified. It has on the roof the largest solar installation of any convention center, any municipal building in the United States. We compost the majority of the food that's used. About 15% of all the excess food is given away to local nonprofits, and the rest is composted. Most of the composted food in San Francisco and the Convention Center is used in our regional wineries, and that's why the wine tastes so good, because the food's so good. We have one of the largest public transportation systems in the country. It's one of the largest electric transportation systems in the country. So if you want to go, say, to Golden Gate Park, you could get on light rail, or you can get one of our hybrid buses, the third largest fleet in the country, or you can get on one of our hybrid taxis and go see the California Academy of Sciences, which is the largest LEED Platinum building in the world, and also a very fantastic museum to go see. So we believe that being green is more than just talking about it, it's kind of a way of life. We were the first city in the country to ban styrofoam. You don't see that anywhere in our restaurants. The first city in the country to ban single-use plastic bags. People thought we were crazy about doing that. Now there's, I think, 42 cities in the country that are doing that. So bring your bag if you're going to go shopping, because you're going to charge 10 cents if you ask for a single-use plastic bag. Also, now in our public buildings, we're not, in the government buildings, not giving out single-use water bottles anymore. Because of the transportation of water, it's a waste of transportation. We're entering our third year of drought in California right now, and San Franciscans use by far less water per capita than any other city in the state, any other major city in the state. So we're proud of what we've done. And we have a lot more to do. And over the next few days, I really encourage you to talk with each other, to share ideas, to share concepts, and to work together to really make the next step important for our industry. But I couldn't leave without asking you to do something else while you're here, and that's have a good time. We believe that San Francisco is a great destination to have a good time. It's not all serious about green meetings all the time. Get out, explore, enjoy. And speaking about green, you can leave some of your greenbacks here because we welcome those too. So I want to leave you with a little video. And again, best wishes for a very successful meeting and coming up with some great ideas that we will learn from and we will take down in the future. Enjoy your visit to San Francisco.
There will never be too many pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge. Because on any given day, from any given perspective, it can change completely. This, in a nutshell, describes the city. It's a place that is changing and evolving every day, but a place whose heart always remains the same. A place where change can be so radical that it radiates beyond our 49 square miles and extends to the entire world. A place that once you visit, changes something inside you and keeps calling you back, which is perfect, because every visit is different than the last. But yet, that feeling of San Francisco remains the same. Never the same. Always San Francisco.
Again, thank you and have a great time.
Thanks, Joe. I don't need the mic, but. Okay. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Heaven? Did I hear heaven? Okay, great. So just want to kind of start the morning by once again welcoming our virtual audience. Hope that we definitely had some good presence on virtual last night. We definitely invite the virtual audience to be on as much as they want or can today and to participate in the conversation. There's going to be a lot of collaborative work being done all day today, and we invite them to add in their comments and their content to what we're doing. There's one member who's not here, and she's not here because we happen to run this conference over Passover at Joan Eisenstadt, and I hope that she's online. She and I engaged in a lively conversation about the fact that we were running this conference over Passover and over Holy Week, and I just do want to acknowledge that. And I want to acknowledge the fact that, you know, these religious holidays, whether you're a religious person or not, have some tie-ins to what we're doing around sustainability. If you go and look at some of the modern seders and some of the modern things that are being done in the Reform movement in the Jewish tradition, there's a lot that they're talking about around social issues. It's about people. It's about social justice, you know, and it's all tied to the theme of sustainability that we're doing this week. So I just want to have a little shout out to Joan. If she is online, hi Joan, thank you for the conversation. We're sorry that we ran this over Passover and that you're not here, and we hope that we'll see you at some future conference. Who is a first timer at this conference? Can you guys just stand up for a minute? Wow. That's a lot of first time people. So, oftentimes we get asked, you know, is there going to be content relevant for people that are just getting started and are going to, you know, just are coming to the conference for the first time? And the reality is we designed this conference to essentially throw you guys into the deep end and immerse you in what we're doing, because we think that we can collaborate together and learn together, and that you guys will learn faster by taking advantage of the other collective wisdom and your own collective wisdom that's in the room. And you guys all did some great work last night, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I just want to make sure that you guys, you know, understand that we want you to dig into the conversation. We want you to learn from and with others that are at your tables, and to really ask questions. If you don't understand some of the things that we're talking about, Ask questions of the mentors that we talked about last night. So don't feel like that, you don't know something. Really dig into what we're doing here and learn from the collaborative process that we have. Is Nancy here? Is she in the room? Is Nancy in the room? Oh, she is here. Okay, for all of you first-timers, how many of you know Amy Spatrasano and Nancy Zavada? Can you guys just stand up for me real quick? So Amy and Nancy are the founders of GMIC, and I screwed something up last night. G2, which was our sponsor last night, had a video that they showed about their work with Intel. And I just want to make sure that you guys all know that one of the partners that is involved in that is Meet Green. And so if you want to know more about what they're doing collaboratively with G2 and with Intel, please talk to Amy and Nancy. They have contributed so much to this industry, the founding of this organization, the development of standards, and they just keep giving back to what we do. So I just want to make sure that we are acknowledging Amy and Nancy for the work that they've done. How many of you know Julie Lindsay? Okay, she's not here this morning because she had a board meeting, but today is her birthday. So when you see her later in the day, wish her a happy birthday. There's a number of people in the room that went through a very lengthy course with Johanna Walsh. Can you guys please stand up? Okay, so those folks, let's just see where you're sitting. So back there in the corner where there are two of you at one table, I need one of you to move to a different table. Okay. And all of the mentors that are on this list, can you guys please stand up? And the students can sit down. Okay. And I want to make sure that all of you are at separate tables as well. So if there's anybody that's together, make sure you're at a separate table. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to spread the wealth, essentially. I'm trying to make sure that each of the groups has, either one of the students that has gone through the course or one of our mentors, so that as we get into the collaborative discussions today, there are people at these tables that can help to guide the discussions, can help to lead the discussions, can contribute ideas, and can answer your questions for you. Now, just like yesterday, I want to make sure that all of our tables are full. So if your table doesn't have 6 people at it, please move to another table, and let's make sure that all the tables are kind of full, and let's start congregating more into the center as much as we can. Because it will not help you to sit at a table by yourself as we get into the discussions today. Okay. All right. So please take note of where you're sitting, because this is where we want you to sit the rest of the day today and when you come back from the tours tomorrow. This is essentially your small group that you're going to work with for the rest of the time. All right? Okay. So a lot of what we're going to do today, last night we gave you a little bit of a taste of what we're going to do today. A lot of what we're going to do today is essentially to build on the content that we started last night and to literally start to build a bridge. So what we did last night after the reception is we started to consolidate the work that you guys did and started to kind of see the emerging themes. And so at some point this morning, not right now, but at some point this morning, like when we go to break or at some convenient time, start to go over and take a look at the themes that we see emerging. And take a look for some of your Post-its. And if you feel like we put it in the wrong spot, feel free to move it. But we're going to start to build on some of these themes as we go through the next couple of days. Okay, so one of the design principles that we kind of thought about is, could we start with a big idea or a big question, and could we use the rest of the time to essentially come up with solutions and come up with ideas and by the end of the day tomorrow, start to answer that big question or big idea. And the original idea that we sort of posed, that's been on the website, that we wanted you hopefully to kind of take a look at and start to think about was, you know, what does a sustainable industry really look like and how does it operate? That was kind of the starting point. I'm kind of changing the question a little bit to start to get a little bit more specific. So the question that we're wanting to answer over the course of the next couple of days is, what are the factors now needed to truly make sustainable practice the normal way that we operate? Okay? We'll write that down at some point and put it up on a slide. But that's the idea that we're trying to get to. As we go through the various presentations over the course of today, as we go through the tours tomorrow, as we go through our collaborative discussions over the next couple of days, that's the question we want you to kind of keep in mind, big picture. What are the factors across all of these different things that we're talking about that we need to either change or really drive forward in a much in a bigger fashion to really get to that ideal that we've always talked about of building sustainability and integrating it into the way that we work and making it just standard practice. Okay, so with that, I am going to turn it over to Anne, and Anne is going to kind of explain kind of our format throughout the conference and how we're getting started and get you started on some stuff, and then we'll start to get into our presentations and into our day. Anne.
Thank you so much. Are we starting to feel like the magician's lovely assistant standing there on the side? But I'll do more. Paul mentioned yesterday the meeting design concept called MeetOvation. And one of the main ingredients in that is participant involvement. I think Paul has emphasized many times now good arguments on why we're actually doing it. I just want to add a little thing to that that's extremely important, that yes, we want to engage you, yes, we want you to talk and share and discuss, but science also proved that the best way to motivate people is to have 3 components in place. And that's one of the reasons that we're actually doing this. Because if you're not self-motivated, it doesn't really matter how many times we switch and swap you around and really try to make you move. Those 3 components is called self-determined theory, is that in order to be motivated, we need to have our competencies in play to build on top of it, add to it, and use them. Next thing is that we need to create relationships, meet new people, have a chance to knowledge share, and to use the relationships that we already have. The last one is autonomy. And I think that's extremely important, to create a structure and a format that guides you. We have some methods that we use, but you have freedom within that method. So autonomy, because we're all free people that would like to make our own choices. And that's one of the very important theories behind participant involvement in the MeetOvation design concept. Another thing is composition theory, and that's actually about the room, the physical setup of the room. And even though this is a large room, we're trying to make it informal. We could do that with props and scenography, but also being not perfect. I think in this industry, everything is straight lines, chairs in rows, tables perfect. I was in here yesterday, and I know that a lot of hotels, and I'm allowed to say that because I actually come from the hotel industry, so I've been like that it's only good if it's straight lines. But if you make something imperfect, actually people are more comfortable. That's why I spilled coffee this morning, if you see a coffee thing. And this is actually not, I have something stuck into my pantyhose, so. The composition of the room. We wanted to make a room that was going to be yours during the days. We use principles about learning styles, that there's room for movement. We have methods that makes you get up, move around. We have things that you can touch. The whole idea with these are the two first pillars to the bridge we're going to build. All the boxes down there is not leftovers from another conference. We're actually going to use them to build a bridge physically with all of your input, your questions, your puzzles, your recommendations, your experiences. We're going to do that bit by bit, and by tomorrow night, we will, hopefully, and I know we tested it, it is possible to build a bridge of those boxes. We have an architect in here. He looked like a little child. He was so happy trying to. So I'm counting on you, wherever you are, to help out. These two ground pillars, first one, and we will have more of the pillars work done today with all of the output. And this concept today, building bridges, we haven't done that before. We risk it because when you risk something, there is also a potential of a great outcome. So we're excited to see where this is going, and I feel comfortable that you want actually to participate and help it along. Another thing from yesterday that struck me was our three keynote ladies up here was actually looking for more stories concerning bragging. And I think we should start a new tradition. I like it for you to be a new tradition. Let's brag about it. So I'm going to do a little exercise with you now. And bragging could be either the good things, but it could also be, because that was mentioned yesterday, let's brag about our failures. Because in retrospective, we learn from that. So I want you now to pair up with another person at your table, preferably somebody you do not know. Share with that person a result or an idea that you're especially proud of, and brag about a major failure that you later on was proud to learn from. Okay? Please do that, and after a short while, I'm going to be the frantic woman with the bell. I think somebody already noticed that. I'll ring the bell, and I'll get you to share with yet another person. But pair up with another person at your table, please.
Great, and so for our happy hybrids, hat tip to Shauna McKinley for giving me that fantastic phrase. We're going to do a little bragging and sharing of our own on the virtual side. So let me know if there is something that you've tried that worked really well. You can tweet at PYM Live, you can tag it hashtag GMIC 2014, and let me know. If there's something that you failed spectacularly at, but you learned a lot from, let me know that as well. So while I'm waiting for you to share your brags and your failures, I'll go ahead and share some of ours. Plan Your Meetings was one of the first media sponsors for the Green Meetings Industry Council. We've covered them since they incorporated their first city chapter. And a coworker of mine, Lisa Krause-Gardner, and I went to their convention in Pittsburgh to check it out. And at the time, it was just us and PlannerWire covering it. And now they've got a bunch of support in the industry, which is beautiful to see. And we met amazing people and we learned amazing ideas. And when we went back, we decided that it didn't make any sense for us to be writing about how people could be planning green meetings or operating more sustainably if we weren't internally also doing the same thing. So we formed an in-house green team, and we created recycle bins. And so for the past 5 years, I've been taking all of the aluminum and glass and plastic home and recycling it with my curbside recycling. And Tom Casey has been taking all of the paper and the cardboard that we produce and taking it to the Morgan Falls recycling. So nearly 1,000 gallons of waste we've been able to divert over the past 5 years. And it's a small office, but it gave us ideas on how we can make a difference. We also make sure that all our lights are turned off. We also went out and got a bunch of silverware and real plates and cups from Salvation Army, so we could not have to depend on disposables anymore. So those are some of the things that we did internally at Planner Meetings, and at our events we always reuse as much as we can and recycle all the badges and try to minimize the paper, just because we want, if we're going to support organizations that we believe in, we want to also be part of the solution and making it a lifestyle choice. So that is one of the brags. So I'm going to look right now at our stream and just kind of see if there's anybody sharing anything that I can let you know of. Meeting Change is loving the bragging exercise. Let's see if there's anybody that tweeted directly at me with things. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything coming through right now. Let's see. Great. So then I guess I'll share one of our failures. You know, what's interesting is that we really want to create purely digital conferences. And so to that end, we give people the option when they register for the events of opting out of having a printed guide. And for whatever reason, they still like to have show programs. And so that's one of the things that I feel like we've kind of failed at is even though we have digital versions available, they're on the Topi app that we use, so when people get there, they have it. We also host it online, and we share it before the conference, and we embed it on the website and make it available. People still, we've discovered, still want to have something that they can hold and touch and refer to. And so one of the lessons that I've learned from that is that you can have the best intentions, but if it doesn't tie into what people need, or if it doesn't complement their behavior, then you're not going to have compliance. And so I think that's a really important thing for people to remember when they are looking at implementing sustainable measures at a conference or within their companies or even at home. You need to communicate to people why it's important and what kind of impact it makes. Because if you don't, then you're just asking people to inconvenience themselves, and it's not really useful for anyone. It'll frustrate you, and it'll frustrate them, and people will feel like they failed. So it looks like we're going to switch back to Anne. So I'm going to switch to her just a second and let you hear some of the in-room conversation.
I think this could be something you could do. Every time you go to a break or something, keep bragging and sharing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you in a bit.
Okay. All right. So we're going to kind of get started for the day with our content. And to introduce the first session, let me introduce from V2, Aaron Cole.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Cole. I'm the Director of Business Development at V2. And on behalf of everybody at V2, it's our honor and our privilege and our pleasure to be able to be here with you today and to be able to be a part of the Sustainable Meetings Conference. Like probably everybody in this room, the message and the goals of GMIC resonate strongly within us, but also within us as a business. As an online event production company, our goal and our purpose is to help our clients utilize online meeting technologies, not only for their obvious benefits, but more so for the benefits of a reduced carbon footprint, for the benefits of reduced waste. And we do that more so for the need to become more aware and cognizant of our impact in the world. We have a saying at V2 that we try to and we like to separate out the technology from the talent. And all that essentially means that our clients are able to focus on their message, their content, and what they're delivering. And they can do that because we're riding along right next to them, riding shotgun, making sure that all the technical aspects of what's going on are working and are working fine without a problem. Everything online, as you all know, is drastically changing, and the world of online events is certainly no different than that. It is certainly going to be something that's changing dramatically in the next couple years, and it feels like we're only just now beginning to realize the potential impact and the potential value that online events and online event technology can have in the world. We believe strongly in this technology, and we want to be relevant and present to ensure that this technology continues not only for the benefit of our clients, but also obviously for the benefit of the world. So we have a booth out here. Come by, stop by, say hi. We'd love to hear more about what each one of you are doing in your worlds and in your businesses to help produce a sustainable environment or a more sustainable environment. Come by, you'll get your passport stamped. And we'd love to hear more about you. We'd love to hear if any one of you are looking at developing and engaging in an online environment or an online event. If any of you have looked at and have assessed the abilities and how to transfer what you're doing physically to an online environment, if you've ever looked to bridge that gap, that can be a pretty daunting task, and we can certainly help with that, so we'd love to talk with you. So thank you for coming to say hi to us later on today at some point or tomorrow. And so with that, it is my pleasure to be able to introduce our first speaker for today, and that is Heather McKinsey. She is the Senior Event Manager at Autodesk. Heather has been a champion and a leading innovator for sustainability practices within Autodesk. And I know we can all gain a lot of insight from Heather, and I'm personally very excited to hear and to learn from some of her insights at Autodesk. I believe we're going to start with a short video here before we start. But from behalf of everyone at V2, I'd like to thank you very much for being here today. And we'd love to talk to you. Have a great day. Heather will be up right after the video. Thank you.
Autodesk's mission is to imagine, design, create a better world. We think that that starts with our company.
We think about 2050 and our vision for 2050, where there'll be 9 billion people, and all of them living well and living within the limits of the planet.
We had this amazing opportunity for all of us to come together as a community and solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
In the grand scheme of things, Autodesk events have a tiny footprint. And so the way we look at it is, how can we green our events so that other events and the millions of events that happen here in Vegas can also be greener?
There are various things that we consider when it comes to greening an event like Autodesk University or One Team Conference, or even smaller events. So we think about carbon footprint, we think about waste, we think about the way that we manage and work with our suppliers and vendors, we think about food and beverage, we think about opportunities for collaborations.
It's answering our sustainability message, it's answering our budget issues, it's answering so much, and it's the right thing to do.
By doing sustainability internally, we're showing our customers that this is actually profitable and it's good for business. It's an opportunity for efficiency. It's an opportunity to run a better business. It's an opportunity to have a better event.
And bring these best practices that can be scalable to the smaller meetings. Paperless initiatives, reduced bottled waters, so much electronic communication, and reduced waste on the exhibit floor.
If it can happen here, then what can we take when we go to Chicago, when we go to Seattle, when we go to San Francisco, other big meeting cities?
A lot of our sustainability measures or activities or practices are very transparent. People don't see the low VOC paints, they don't see the low VOC carpet. Oftentimes they don't even recognize the energy efficient lighting. They may not know. They definitely don't know about our recycling efforts because we don't have separately recycling bins. However, we have crews that sort through the trash 24/7.
We've implemented a highly efficient, highly controllable lighting system within our large convention space, which saves enough energy to power about 400 homes a year.
Instead of using plastic, we use compostable items. So if we have 9,000 people and they're there for 4 or 5 days, we're going to gather about 100 tons of food. So all that product that's not being eaten is coming to us to make compost. It never goes to the landfill. It doesn't have to create harmful gases. It's coming back into the environment to plant more trees, more food.
We see roughly about 5,000 tons on an annual basis that just come out of that one property from show traffic, which is pretty tremendous when you think about it. When I look at the amount of material that comes through here on a daily basis and just the waste stream in general, it's mind-blowing how much material there truly is out there that's getting thrown away. You know, it's my job to keep it out of a landfill and to make another product, reuse it, do something with it, because it still has value.
When you travel to a meeting, you create, on average, about 20 pounds of garbage a day per person. At home, you do about 4 or 5.
We need to reduce our footprint, otherwise it's going to step on the lives of our children and our grandchildren.
A significant amount of the event's footprint is through the air travel. And so we've done a lot to expand the virtual presence at these events. 40,000 people are now attending Autodesk University online, so they don't actually have to travel here to learn about, in this case, sustainable design, sustainability, all of these classes. People coming together and sharing ideas is really important.
We're going to have an ecosystem of 9 billion people who all have the opportunity to provide ideas, to provide suggestions. Through the means of Autodesk tools and other tools that are out there, everyone has the opportunity to be a designer and be creative and contribute to the solution.
And then the real crux is enabling 9 billion people to live well, but also live within the limits of the planet. So that's what fires us up. It's obviously a bold, big vision, but we think it's possible, and that's where we're aiming.
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? I'm actually really impressed with how many new people are here. It was my first year last year, and I learned so much last year. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I was able to take away last year, and hopefully you'll be able to take away some things today. Yes, I'm Heather McKenzie with Autodesk. I've been with Autodesk for 18 years, and in the industry, a little over 23. I don't want anyone out there doing the math. I started when I was 10. But I'm here today to talk to you about how, as event planners, we can maximize our sustainable approach to events and meet business objectives, as well as work with your brand and make your brand look good. Another great thing about being here, I'm a local. I was born and raised here in Sausalito. Autodesk also started in Sausalito about 30 years ago. So it's great to be here in San Francisco and have everybody here with us. One of the things I've heard over and over from in the past year and a little bit before is how a lot of you out there really struggle with how you're going to talk to your executives or talk to your business partners and why sustainability is the right approach. I'm going to talk to you today about how at Autodesk it's kind of different. Autodesk is a very sustainable company, and it comes from the top down, but there's a lot of practices and things I hope that you can learn from this. But first, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what Autodesk is as a company, what we do, and why sustainability is so important. But I want you to understand as I'm telling you this, I am an event planner, just like most of you in the room. I'm not a salesperson, and I am not a software developer. Imagine, design, and create a better world. That's the Autodesk mission statement. It's what we are at our core of our business. We've been developing software and solutions for over 30 years. We're a $2 billion company, but we're so much more than a software company today. Our technology our expertise and our customers' expertise, are allowing our customers to imagine, design, and create a better world. You can see how that important sustainability is to our brand. We want to be seen and are seen as a leader in sustainable design. Our tools are used to create the entire built environment. We had a CEO a few years ago who she loved to say, if God didn't create it, Autodesk did. We still kind of see it that way. And Linnell Cameron mentioned in the video that you just watched. And by the way, did you see a lot of familiar faces in that video? It's kind of cool. I know a lot of the people in that video are here today. But what do we mean by a better world? We mean that in 2050, 9 billion people living on the planet, it's about 2 billion more than today. We need to live well and live within our limits. And it's all of our responsibilities to do what we can today to make that happen. But we've got a lot of work to do. It's a big challenge. So how are we doing that at Autodesk? With our family of products. We have a huge family of products. We have products to help building design, to help with manufacturing, as well as civil, highways and roads. Our products are the solutions that our customers use to create sustainable design and create a better world. I learned putting this presentation together, 18 years, yes, I'm still learning about our products, that we have one tool, impact modeling. This tool is so cool. It actually allows our designers, as they're creating, to figure out how much power is going to be used in their building once it's built, or how much power can they generate with solar panels. Not such a sustainable thing, but something I just thought was cool. It will also let them see how much weight a bridge can hold before it's built. Coming from the Bay Area, we've got a lot of bridges here, so it was kind of cool that we have a tool that helps our designers do that. Here are just a few things that our local customers have designed in sustainable design that they have done with our products. How many here have actually driven in a Tesla? I'd ask how many own one. Are they the coolest car? I mean, those things move right here in the Bay Area with the help of some of our products. And you heard earlier, the gentleman that up this morning was talking about the California Academy of Science. It houses our Natural History Museum, our aquarium, and a living rainforest. They used our products. One of the things it did was showed them how sunlight and air would flow through the building. My favorite, I'm from Marin. Anyone that's been to Marin knows everybody rides a bike there. This pedal electric hybrid bike was created there, the Bicycle. And one of the things they were able to test through our products was to make it stronger so that it could still hold the battery and at the same time come in $700 less to create. So when people think sustainable design, we want them to think Autodesk. But what does that mean to Autodesk as a company? What does that mean inside? What does it mean to our events? If it means so much to our customers, what does it mean to us? Here's just one snapshot from our annual sustainability report. I know they're in the process of putting the other one together as we speak. I had a tough time getting bandwidth because they've been working on it, but it will be online and you can pull it down if you'd like. But one of the things that you can see in this is on the chart all the way to the left, major conferences is one of the areas that we report on for our carbon footprint. That's a pretty big project for us in events, right? It's one of many things. But before I get to the events, just so you get a feel of what we do inside and how we walk the talk and lead by example, we have many offices. We're a global company. We have offices all over the world, obviously. Many are LEED certified. The one on the left is Milan. I was able to go visit there last year. It's a great, beautiful building. I think it's gold LEED certified. I should have known for sure before I got here. The other one is our Waltham office, and that's where our building solutions team is located. It's gold LEED certified. And you can see that when our customers come to talk to us about creating sustainable design, they're coming to an office that we show how important it is to us by having a sustainable office. Our IT. We all know that there's people online right now watching us. We all look at virtual components. We look at virtual components inside Autodesk. We want to keep our employees from flying, from creating a bigger carbon footprint. So we have telepresences. I think it's about 15 offices now. I do know that they are getting more and more, and I know that there's people in the office that would like to have even more. Have any of you sat on a telepresence and sat across the room from somebody? It is amazing. It really does feel like you're right there. And it's a hell of a lot better to drive there instead of flying across the country to be there. We have online tools. As you can see, very important to us as a company. But what does it mean to our events? What does it mean to Autodesk events? It means not just getting rid of water bottles. So about 6 years ago, I was approached by Ben, who you saw in the video, who was supposed to be here with me today. Poor guy is in Paris working. I feel really bad for him. He said, we need a sustainable champion lead in events, and we need somebody that can help out with ensuring that our carbon footprint is brought down. I kind of thought to myself, shit, I got an easy job now. I already do this. We don't have water bottles. It's really hard for me to allow any of my clients to bring a handout. And the interesting thing is the reason I started doing this was not as much for sustainability. It brought down the budget. By not ordering water bottles and having just filtered water, it was a lot cheaper. By not having to order all of those brochures that were heavy and then needed to be shipped and then needed to be shipped back, not only did it save money, time, but it saved a lot of my work. And it saved us a lot of money. And I kind of wrapped around, oh, we're being sustainable. What I learned through this process and a lot last year, that was the low-hanging fruit. We really had a lot of work to do here. It wasn't just going to be me by myself going back to my team saying, hey, we have to try harder, and we have to really look at what we're doing. It was working with our partners. It was working together with our suppliers. Ben started working with the Sands and with the Venetian. I know Jenny's here today. And challenging them, how much energy is your building using? Well, we're bringing 9,000 people to your facility. How are you dealing with waste management? What's your water savings? And he started working with them to report back. At the same time, it gave them an opportunity to go back and say, hey, we have a client that this is important to them. We have to start upping it as well. And between the two of them and working together, not only was it a benefit to Autodesk and our impact, but it was a benefit to the Sands and Venetian, because now we looked at them as a partner when it came to reducing our carbon footprint and working with a sustainable company. Over the years, it's just been great. I'm really excited that we've worked with them. And this last year, we worked even closer with them and had a volunteer event, which I was very proud of and very excited to bring to Autodesk University. And it married all of those together. It married our relationship with the Sands, because we used Clean the World with what we were bringing from the Sands, and it worked with our customers came in and were able to see and understand more about what the Venetian was doing with sustainability, and then worked with Autodesk in putting it together and giving them that opportunity. And then we donated everything back out to a local charity, so they got to see that they were helping the city that they were in. And what about our exhibit floor? So just to back up for a moment, last year when I said I came here and I learned a lot, another person who's not here today is Julie with McDonald's. And I really look at her as a mentor. I sat here and listened to their story last year and was so surprised at what they'd done with 16,000 attendees and the change and impact they could make. And I walked away and walked back to my team and went, oh boy, we can do this. We can make a difference. Lucky for me, we are partnered with Freeman and their exhibit, and I had the opportunity last year of meeting Jeff Chase and pulling him into our project. And Jeff and I and Ben sat down and said, okay, how can we do even a portion of what they've done? And we worked together. We came up with some ideas. We have about 200 exhibitors that come in, plus our internal exhibitors. We started on upstream. We started asking them, what are you going to bring to the event? Why are you bringing handouts? If you are, how many? What are you bringing to give away? Do you have to give away anything? And if you are going to bring it, what is it? Is it recyclable? So we had them all fill out a form. Our goal is over the years to make some of those mandatory. Each year making it a little bit more strict, a little bit more difficult for them not to be sustainable. We also worked on the floor and worked with our teams and brought them up to speed as to why this was important. It wasn't like we're just doing it for you because you've been asked to. It's we're doing this because Autodesk as a company asks our customers to do sustainable design. We have to lead by example. We want our customers to come to our event and see that we mean what we mean. We're talking the talk, we mean business. And we're going to show you that. We want them to come. That's the brand recognition. That's when they come in and say, you're the sustainable company and you're doing a sustainable event. That's the one place you come face to face. As we all know in this industry, because we're all sitting in the room here today, and I know not everybody's from San Francisco, we're still going to have the face-to-face events. People are still going to get on airplanes. But we also have the virtual component, as we do here, and we do with Autodesk and Autodesk University. But we have to remember that if we are going to bring people together, we are going to make an impact, let's teach them at the same time. This was the best thing I learned. I've had the most fun with the food and beverage. So not only did I have fun with, and I'll explain this to you, but it was also a great place to save money. I don't know if anybody realizes there's a lot of little secrets in here. You could say I'm being sustainable, but at the end of the day, you're actually saving money, which to the business objective, this is what's important. And this is what your executives want to hear. With food and beverage, we were able to work with the chef. Well, first of all, the other person I partnered with on food and beverage was our event management company. The woman who was managing food and beverage for them, I approached her and said I wanted to make a difference here in food and beverage, and she said she was so excited. It was her first opportunity to really start to work with sustainability and make a difference. She took it on, once again, partnering, once again, bringing your teams together and getting everybody on board. She really wanted to try too. So she worked with the chef. We started looking at a buffet with 10 items. Honest to God, you guys, do we really need 10 items to choose from every day at lunch? It's ridiculous. 5 is even a lot. So we brought down the amount. This offered the chefs an opportunity to order more food in bulk, which made it easier to get locally grown, which in Las Vegas is 400 miles, as well as organic, because if you're going to go back to your supplier, once again working together, and you go to the supplier, you say, okay, I'm only going to order 2 items, but I need 3 times as much, you're going to get the order in bulk. I was able to keep our food and beverage budget flat, yet have less choices, less waste, less going back into the compost or wherever. In Las Vegas and at the Sands, their composting is amazing. But I also learned for the smaller events, if you do a plated lunch, which to me, I'm sorry, I would much prefer to go sit down and start being served than stand in line. And doing the plated lunch, one choice, one bulk order, better experience, less expensive in most hotels. So I know it sounds kind of silly. We all have our things that we kind of get turned on about. For some reason, this one really got me, and it was fun to do. It also answers, all of these answer business objectives. Being sustainable. Your company might not be a sustainable-based company like Autodesk is, but just by making your event more sustainable and making it more impactful on a greening level, your brand is now going to be recognized by those people that are on the floor at your event as a company that are making a difference and that it matters to you, and your company is going to stand out a little bit more. Partnering with your executives. Finding out who on the executive team or who you're answering to or who's driving you, where their passions are. Bring them on board. Be an evangelist. Explain to them why this is so exciting. I kind of go with the ask for forgiveness approach instead of permission. I do it in probably too many parts of my job, but it works in this. And the biggest lesson we learned, you can't do it without partnering with your suppliers. Working with your partners, working with your video companies, working with your exhibit houses, working with your event management, getting them on board, giving them the opportunity to bring ideas to you, understanding it's important to you, you're open to ideas, take chances. Ask your partners to take chances. Ask people to kind of work outside the box a little bit. It might work. I love this morning's exercise. Go ahead and fail. I'm really hoping this won't be the failure, but we're going with it. Learn from your peers. Learn when you're here today. I learned a hell of a lot last year. It has helped so much for Autodesk in the greening of our largest event. AU University brings 9,000 people, as you heard. It's not as big as most conferences, but for us, it's a big impact. But I learned from people from McDonald's. You know, I learned from Oracle. I'm learning from other companies. I'm learning from my vendors. I'm learning from Jeff was able to teach us some new ideas that he had learned. One of the cool things was, as we did donate out a lot of stuff, and Ben, my partner from sustainability team, was so excited afterwards. I felt like he was running up to me. He goes, "We got one exhibitor to donate 3 large screen TVs to a local charity. We didn't have to fly them back. We didn't have to box them up. We didn't have to, quote unquote, throw them away as a waste. And there's a couple families out there that have new TVs in their house that they wouldn't have had otherwise." So there's this win-win situation. It really isn't about, do we have to do this? Why should we do this? And please do this for me because I believe in it. This is about doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's about doing it because it's not the cool thing. It's not the niche thing. It is really becoming the norm. And we are a room full of people right now. I'm going to guess we're all preaching to the choir. We are all here right now because we believe that sustainability is the right answer. And it's the right answer so we can live in a better world. But it's our job as event people and suppliers to get out there and bring more people on board. Turn one more person in your company on about it. So just to let you know, it's not easy for me either in a sustainable company. I was at an event recently, Scout's honor on this story, it was a couple months ago. My internal client challenged me on having a mobile app as the way to deliver the agenda. Challenged us so much they were afraid our customer or the audience wouldn't be able to download it. Autodesk, you guys. The cloud, sustainability, software, forward thinking. I said, I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll be able to handle this. We still had to print out one-sheet agendas. In some situations, it's still a challenge. We're still working here. It's still bringing your local teams, your internal teams on board as well. It's working with everybody. More about sustainable design. If you want to know more about what Autodesk is doing, not only with our customers, but around the world and with charities, there's a website you can go to, or you can just do what I do, because I never write this down or remember it. Just go to autodesk.com and search for sustainability. It's right there. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to anybody about what I've learned and what I still want to learn, or if you have any great ideas that we could use. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Heather. Now it's your turn to work. See, I could use one of those bathing suit men that you see in boxing fights. Now it's time to receive and research amongst yourself. Inspired by Heather's speak, good examples and ideas. We're now going to do a crowd-searching format called, for the occasion, Sudden Bridging Survey. Now it would make sense to you why you're sitting at a table where the brown paper bag has a symbol. Because each of these symbols represent the questions up here. Please go, yes, thank you. Stay there. 4 different questions. The questions that the question you're going to work with or explore shows the symbol on the side should represent the one that's on the brown bag. And these 4 questions, you are going to find the answers or ideas, recommendations among each other. So here is the process. Could you please, next slide. You sit down in your group, and I hope you all have a mentor also. Each group review their questions. I'll give you, this is an indication of times. I might change it in order to stick to our schedule. But first, I give you 5 minutes to talk about your question. You make a plan in your group how you're going to collect responses from all the other participants that are in here. So you're not going to answer this question yourself. You're going to come up with a tactic or plan on how you would subtract answers, ideas, solutions, recommendations, advice, whatever, on these questions among yourself. Then you're going to go out and interview random individual members of the other groups to collect the responses. But they will also, of course, have a question for you. So you're going to swap answers to the question. Approximately 15 minutes you have doing that, collecting as much information as possible. Then you end up back in your group where you're going to share the responses with the rest of your group members at the table. And then you're going to analyze the information, and you're going to prepare a summary. This is going to be fun, totally chaotic. And maybe you want to come up with a system where you actually know who your group has interviewed. That's all up to you. Be creative to actually have a plan on what to do.
And if you just go back to the timing slide again, we're going to compress the time a little bit because we want to end this exercise by 10 o'clock so that we can go to break on time.
But don't worry about that. I'm going to have a time timer up here, so I will keep time and track for you and ring the bell when it's time to do something else. This was just an education. So, one step at a time, and I'll let you know. First, you review the question and make a plan. And when time's up, I'll let you know when to get up and get out there and collect the responses. Okay? Please? Yeah, questions are here.
Great. And for my happy hybrids out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off of this broadcast right now. And there are 3 of the people that have been following along with us virtually. Sean McKinley and Catherine Manfredi and I think it's Livia. I'm going to call them into a Google Hangout, so you can go to the youtube.com/planyourmeetings and join us live to discuss these questions. So until then, plan well and prosper, friends.
In your brown paper bag, there's pens